How are you guys doing today? So thank you for joining me on today's video. What we're going to talk about are the top 3 biggest tax deductions where you can save thousands of dollars in taxes, averaging between $50,000 to $100,000 in taxes. So let's talk about the first biggest tax deduction where you can save astronomical amount in taxes. Depreciation expense. So what is a depreciation expense exactly? Depreciation expense typically comes from fixed assets. So what are fixed assets? Fixed assets are any tangible assets that you have in the operation of your business. Some examples of fixed assets could be a building that you operate, your operations that you're paying a note on, or what we call a mortgage payment on, or fixed assets can also be any type of business vehicles that you use in your business. So how does depreciation work with this? When you have fixed assets have an asset useful life that the IRS gives them. Based on that asset useful life, you're able to take a depreciation expense, which is a tax deduction, which is a business tax deduction onto your taxes. So for example, if the building that you're operating out of has a commercial life of 39 and a half years, that means for the next 39 and a half years, you get to take a business expense deduction, which of course you're saving on taxes for the next 39 and a half years. You're able to take depreciation expense until that fixed asset totally depletes. Again, depending on the asset life that the IRS has assigned to that asset. Okay. So depreciation expense is one of those huge tax deductions that saves the business owner thousands and thousands of dollars in taxes. So you don't want to sleep on it. You definitely want to make sure that if you have fixed assets, the examples I gave you are just examples. There are way more fixed assets out there. If you have those fixed assets, you want to make sure that you're receiving a business tax deduction for the depreciation against those fixed assets. Okay. So let's talk about the next biggest tax deduction. Payroll expenses, guys. Payroll expenses. This is why it's so important that when you have staff that you are paying them the correct way, that you're paying them through a payroll software so that you can keep up with the amount of payroll expenses that you've been dishing out of your company on an annual basis. What does payroll expenses comprise of? It's more than just payroll wages that you get to write off, which is typically the bulk of the expenses of any business that's doing operations. Okay. So it's not just the payroll wages that you get to write off, but any payroll taxes. What are payroll taxes? Payroll taxes are Social Security taxes, Medicare taxes, any type of state income taxes, unemployment taxes and federal unemployment taxes and things like that. Those are write-offs as well. So you get to write off payroll wages, you get to write off the associated payroll taxes to those payroll wages, and you also get to write off payroll processing fees. And as I said, payroll is typically the bulk of any operations business, okay? So you get to write that off and get a huge tax deduction for it. Last but not least, what's one of the third biggest tax deductions that you as a business owner can save in? Insurance, guys. I don't care what type of insurance it is. It could be auto insurance. It can be business liability insurance. Whatever type of insurance it is that your business has, you are able to take a business expense deduction for it. Okay. So it's very important that as business owners that you guys have business liability insurance. Of course, it's definitely going to help you in the long run to have this type of liability insurance. I'm sure that for those businesses that have business vehicles, that you have auto insurance on those business vehicles and so many other types of insurance policies I see out there that many business owners have. You're able to write off these business expense deductions. Okay. So I want you guys to pay very close attention to the expenses that are going out of your business on a month-to-month basis, an annual basis, and pay close attention to what you're able to write off. But typically over the years, I've seen that in the assisted living industry, in the childcare industry, the payroll expenses, the depreciation expenses, and the insurance expenses are the top 3 biggest tax deductions that you guys are getting that are saving you thousands and thousands of dollars in taxes. Okay. So if you guys want more information, there will be a link in my caption. Go ahead and click the link, and myself or one of my staff members will reach out to you and we'll book a consultation with you. Have a great day. More tips to come.